Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take stacks of information, find the key insights, and we'll tailor them just for you. Today, we're really getting into one of the fastest moving areas in AI and software development, vibe coding. So our mission today is to unpack this explosion of vibe coding. What does it actually mean for how software gets built? And we'll zoom in on two really significant announcements just out from Google and Anthropic that are shaping its future.
Yeah.
Because this isn't just about new tools, right? It feels like a fundamental shift in how we even interact with code.
Yeah, exactly. What's amazing here is just how fast this whole concept has gone from, a kind of fringe idea to a dominant force. We're talking about a transformation in developer productivity and accessibility, too, that's already proving incredibly disruptive. It's shaking up established models.
Okay, so let's unpack this term vibe coding. It's only been around about 5 months. Andrej Karpathy, former OpenAI co-founder, coined it back on February 2nd.
Right.
He talked about fully giving into the vibes, embracing exponentials, and almost forgetting the code exists because, well, his words, LLMs are getting too good. Essentially, it's about talking to the code using English, basically, as the programming language.
Which raises a big question, doesn't it? How has a term, and maybe more importantly, the actual capability, gone from basically zero in January to being twice as searched as prompt engineering just a couple of months later?
Yeah.
It's clearly not just for the existing software engineers. It feels like a force bringing, non-coders into the coding space.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Even before Karpathy coined the term, we saw apps like Bolt and Lovable just blowing up, right?
Absolutely.
And Cursor gained dominance really quickly, too. Lovable, I read, recently held a global hackathon, and something like 250,000 different apps were built with their tool.
250,000. Wow.
Yeah. Apparently more than in the first 5 years of the internet combined. I mean, we're seeing this everywhere now. Even kids are apparently vibe coding on social media, which is kind of wild.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's not just these new players. You've got existing embedded enterprise tools fundamentally rewiring themselves around vibe coding.
Like Airtable.
Exactly. Airtable is effectively refounding itself as an AI-native app platform. They're combining, vibe coding for business apps, but making sure it's production ready for the enterprise.
Didn't Asana launch something similar on the same day? Their AI studio?
They did. They're calling it a no-code builder for designing AI-powered workflows tailored for organizations. It's a pretty clear signal from these legacy tools, right? They're acknowledging this is a foundational shift.
Definitely.
And we've seen market share shifts, too. There was that recent chart from Ramp showing how much market share Cursor has actually taken from GitHub Copilot.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it really reinforces that this new set of, let's call them vibe-native tools, is genuinely changing how people interact with code day to day.
Okay, so that brings us nicely to the two big announcements that just landed yesterday. Really shows how fast the space is moving. First up, Google. They debuted their agentic Gemini CLI.
Right, the command line interface.
Yeah, so this is an open source AI agent. It brings Gemini's coding, content generation, and research capabilities directly into the developer's terminal. Now, CLIs are obviously lighter than a full IDE like Cursor, but they're still a programming staple, right?
Oh, absolutely. Essential. And what's fascinating here is Google's strategy. It's very aggressive, competitively speaking.
How so?
Well, they're using their scale to compete hard on price. The Gemini CLI, it's free.
Free? Really?
Totally free. And the usage limits are pretty generous, 60 queries per minute, 1,000 tip per day. Apparently, they figured this out by measuring their own developers' usage, and then they just doubled the average. So yeah, it's clearly a feature parity play, but also Google just flexing its pricing muscle. And they're using their top-tier Gemini model, too.
And the initial feedback seems pretty strong. I saw a tweet from a Google Cloud developer relations expert.
Oh, yeah. Said
he used the new Gemini CLI, gave it just a YouTube link of a tech tutorial, and it set up the entire project perfectly.
Just from a YouTube link?
Yeah, that's a massive productivity win. It holds up.
No kidding.
Okay, so meanwhile, over at Anthropic, their announcement was a bit different. They added a sort of Replit Bolt Lovable style vibe coding experience right into the Claude chat window.
Right. They're talking about how Claude can now create these things called artifacts. Think of them as interactive bits that talk through an API.
Okay.
So you can turn them into these AI-powered apps, and apparently the economics actually work for sharing them. You just describe what you want, Claude writes the code, helps you debug it, and then you can share it with just a link. No deployment needed. And other users can even fork them, customize them. You could see a whole social layer building up around this.
Interesting. So it sort of blurs the line between like a traditional web app and these agentic workflows we hear about.
Exactly. You can build games and apps, sure, but you can also vibe code a basic agent. Use natural language to string together multiple actions for more complex tasks. These artifacts become a really lightweight way to get into agent architecture, basically.
This idea of blurring lines between software and agents Amjad Masad, the CEO of Replit, has been talking about this a lot, hasn't he?
He really has. It seems to be a core focus for him. At a recent talk, he actually said he believes software is going to become agents all the way down.
Agents all the way down. That's quite a statement.
It is, and he demonstrated it too. Showed a live polling app database, authentication, quality checks, the works that he'd apparently vibe coded in just 15 minutes.
15 minutes for all that.
That's what he claimed. He called it an almost semi-autonomous agent, something you can watch work or just step away and get a notification when it's done, like a preview of the future, maybe.
That really does raise a huge question then. If it gets that easy to build and deploy apps, why would big companies keep paying for expensive off-the-shelf software?
Precisely. Will they just start building their own custom stuff instead? Masad shared this anecdote. A Replit user apparently built a working version of some ERP automation for only $400. Instead of the $150,000 quote they got from a vendor.
Wait, $400 versus $150,000?
Yeah. That's 3 orders of magnitude cheaper. It completely changes the economics.
So what does all this mean for developers then, if we're moving towards this?
Well, Masad suggests we're heading to a point where maybe you won't interface directly with the code as much. You'll interact with software on a higher level of abstraction, as he put it. Though he did add a caveat. He thought we might need something in between code and English, some intermediate layer to make it really work well.
Okay, so the sort of paradoxical outcome here is that users of all types are actually writing a ton more code now.
It seems so. The whole idea that AI would eliminate developers, it's kind of being flipped on its head, isn't it?
Yeah.
Adam McLaughlin from OpenAI said something like 80% of his code is now written by Codex. But he's writing way more code overall than before.
Right. And Michael McNano from Lightspeed Partners added something similar, didn't he? That AI has recruited more developers than it's eliminated.
Yeah, he said, everyone I know is coding right now. It's democratizing it, maybe.
But here's where it gets kind of mind-bending. The way people are coding is getting more and more complex almost.
Yeah.
Insane.
Oh, so.
McKay Wrigley from Takeoff AI shared his workflow. He spins up 3 coding agents at once.
3?
Yeah. Types AI. In his terminal, it launches Claude Code, Gemini CLI, and his other things, COC CLI. They're all synced up via voice prompt. He hits send. They all work in parallel, and he just picks the best result.
Wow. Okay, that's definitely next level. It's moving towards what you might call multi-agent systems, right?
Yeah, or like a Dr. Strange idea for coding, as someone put it.
Greg Kamrote from ArcPrize described his setup too. He has one main orchestrator agent controlling, wait for it, 85 subagents working in parallel.
85.
85.
Oh.
Each one apparently spawns from his stream of consciousness, and the main orchestrator handles testing. And Jason Zhao is applying this to design work using Claude Code to assign parallel tasks to subagents, integrating with Git worktree to generate like 10 designs simultaneously.
10 designs at once.
Yeah.
Just exploring options.
Exactly. Treating design like a multi-threaded process.
So, I mean, what does this all mean? The fact that, as that A16Z blog post discussed, a non-technical founder with AI agents could potentially outbuild a team of elite engineers.
Yeah.
That just shows how much has changed in, a few months. It's staggering.
It really is.
So this deep dive really reveals a genuinely transformational moment, I think, in software development.
Vibe coding isn't just a buzzword. It feels like it's fundamentally reshaping the landscape. It's making coding more accessible, way more productive.
And it's enabling these completely new ways of developing, driven by these pretty powerful multi-agent systems.
Which brings us to a really important question for you listening in. If software really is becoming agents all the way down, like Amjad Masad suggests, what does that actually mean for the skills and the roles that are going to be most valuable in the next few years? How might this completely reframe what we even mean by building something?